On the staff informational pane, you'll see a listing of all staff members, and by default you see their phone extensions and room numbers. Generally we are looking at current staff, but we can look at former staff or all staff as need be. You can also adjust the naming convention for staff, similar to what's done for students. Notice that they're grouped by department, and we can apply filters. And right-click, bring out the column chooser, and there are a few additional pieces of information here. Note that it is possible for a staff member to show up more than once if they've been given more than one key posting. Now, in many cases, your school will restrict the amount of information you can see regarding other staff members, and even to a certain extent, perhaps for your own data. Let's take an example. Let's look at this staff member. Here we see the basic screen, photo, some options, data. Here we have contact details, employment details, any staff dependents, and emergency contact information. Below we have additional tabs. And again, as before, they correspond to the contextual menu you'd have here. But as I said, it may be the case that your school will restrict. They may not want you to see the contractual details or certain user-defined fields. But maybe they'll let you see the schedule or the activities or service learning tabs. To demonstrate, I'm going to use my own data. It's unrestricted. Rather than going through the list and finding your own name, for convenience, you can access your own data directly from the My Data column. It's exactly the same as if you scrolled through the list of staff and found your name. It just makes it a little easier. So here's my general details. My attendance information. Notice here, it shows me what's accumulated, and here, different types, how much I have of each type, and I can even see details. There's also a simplified view if you wish, so you can just see which days were absent and what was the reason. On the schedule, well, again it defaults to the current year, but you could click on a previous year if there are any and see the schedule then. You can find contractual details. So here's some sample contract data. Notice up here we have positions, which is the key post, which are current active assignments. Down here we have each individual yearly contract, if any. Any documents have been added. Note that this is read-only, and you may not be able to access this, again, depending on permissions. For service, here's service activities. Any activity that you're designated as being the service supervisor or any students that you're the service advisor for might show up here. As with other cases, I can right-click and I can either go to the service detailed or to the student itself. And the same way, the last one, activities. So here are the activities I'm listed as being the advisor for. And again, I can right-click and go to the activity details or to the activity roster. And lastly, user-defined, if there are any user-defined elements for this. As mentioned, your view of this will vary depending upon the permissions set within your school.